The empire strikes back as the bulls rally strongly off the lows. Is it possible that was the bottom? This is Invest with Jacob. Okay guys, so in yesterday's video we were looking for a sell-off down towards 35.80 to complete wave 3, and the bears came up short at 36.13, and then the bulls rallied very strongly in what appears to be wave 4. So it does look like we've completed all of wave 3 and are in wave 4 now. The question is wave 4 complete, or do we still have higher to go? I'll get into that in just one second, but first, if you're new here, welcome to the show, guys. My name is Jacob Gabbard, and this is Invest with Jacob, where we use Elliott Wave Theory to break down the SP 500 and the NASDAQ. I highly encourage you to hit that subscribe button down below so that you can get our daily S&P updates, our trade setups, and our buy alerts. All right, guys, with the move higher here, it does look like we are in wave 4, and in that case, we may or may not be done. So let's jump into the chart and take a look. Okay, guys, so here we are on the 1-hour futures chart for the S&P 500, and as of right now, you'll notice I've taken the blue count off the chart, and the reason for that is I still have the fibs over here for the blue count, and when you break through the pivot, so 36.72 was the bottom of the pivot, they broke through towards the 1.0, they came up short, and then they move back up above the pivot at 37.20. That makes it very unlikely that that count is going to play out. Once we break down through the pivot, they should be able to hold above that 37.20, and when that breaks, it does make it less likely for that count. So we do have taken the blue count off, and now we are looking mostly at the red count right now as we are tracking this move down. So we were looking for them to push down to the 1618, and they did come up a little short of that at 36.13. And then we saw an ABC move up here towards 37.50. It was a little higher than the 1.0 at 37.31, but it did reject that area, so it pushed up and then rejected back down to below that 37.31 area, and it's consolidated under it since. So this is a target area. This is kind of the bottom of the target area. The top of the target area is 37.89, or the 764 retrace, or extension, I should say, retracing back to the 764 extension of this 1-2 here. And with that, we do have the ability to push up towards 37.89 and continue this wave 4 higher. However, they do have enough in place to have completed this wave 4, and they have pushed down and consolidated to the downside here. So it is possible wave 4 is over. The big announcement tomorrow is GDP. I believe it's the advance announcement for it, or the estimates, and that could be the catalyst that tells us whether we're going to continue on in wave 4 here or push down towards this 35.50 area. So originally we were looking at 34.50 down here for the red count, but with us coming up short of the 1618, we have moved up to the 34.84 to 35.16 area for this wave 5 down. Okay, so that would be our target should we complete here for this wave 4. But again, they can push this higher towards 37.89 and even as high as 38.25, but over that, and then we have pushed back through the pivot, and the red count kind of invalidates at that point. So we have made a lot of assumptions on this chart based on the CPI data. Because this is such a straight line move down with no wave in it at all or no structure to it, we've made a lot of assumptions about where wave 1 and 2 are. It's followed the red path pretty well so far, so we're going to continue to stay on that path. However, if they do push up over 38.25, then we have to consider a couple of different options. One, a diagonal to the downside that will end up playing out in an ABC down in wave 5. Or we have to consider the possibility that this is a bottom, okay, and we're starting a corrective move higher, or even potentially an impulsive move higher, just depending on how this structure plays out off of the low. So right now we're assuming we're still in the red count based on the assumptions we're making about this straight line move down and how the count has played out and hit the targets. And we just hit the wave 4 bottom area. Again, they can push up towards 37.90, and then we would expect a push down toward that 34.84 to 35.50 area to complete this move down. All right, over on the NASDAQ, it's a little bit behind the S&P 500. The S&P sold off a little stronger than the NASDAQ as it has broken its low, and the NASDAQ has not broken its low. So the NASDAQ came down to the 1236 extension and bounced off of that, which was just above the June lows. And so we got a good rally back up to the 764. This is pretty good fib pinball here where it hits the 1236, comes back to the 764, and then you'd look for a move down in wave 5 of wave 3. Now on the ES or the S&P, it does look like they've completed all of wave 3, so it does look like the NASDAQ could be a wave behind the S&P 500, but we'll have to take it as it gets down here and see what we get and go from there. Again, guys, what we would expect at this point, they couldn't push it up to 11,700 to the top of the pivot here, but above that, and we start to get out of the pivot, and it kind of invalidates this red countdown, and we'll have to see if we get a bigger corrective move here off of a short-term bottom, or we get kind of an impulsive move and a long-term bottom at this point. Guys, if you like the information that I put out in these videos and you want real-time market updates from me, you need to check out investwithjacob.com. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and click that link, okay, and it will take you over to the web page. Once you're over there, check out our membership plans area. We have 2 incredible plans, and they both come with a 7-day free trial. That's because I want you to get in there, make sure you love it, make sure you are part of our trading team, and our trading style is for you before you ever spend any money. You can cancel at any time. In our first room, the Invest with Jacob room, you get all of my real-time market updates, all of my buy and sell alerts, and all of your Elliott Wave questions answered. We trade the SPY and the QQQ, and we swing trade, which means our trades can last anywhere from a few days to a few months. So we don't trade quite as often as a day trading room does. However, if you are looking for day trading as well as individual stocks, you need to check out PT's Throne Room. In there, you get everything you get in the Invest with Jacob room, as well as individual stocks, day trading, and PT's reduced risk binary method that absolutely crushes the market. He gets you in at a cheap price and gets you big multiples on your money, and it's how he structures the trade that's very unique. You kind of have to see it to understand it, and that's another reason we give you that 7-day free trial. He also started a challenge account where he put $4,000 into a small account, trading mini ES futures and disciplined trading methods, averaging 3 to 4% gains per week, showing you how to build a small account into a large retirement or savings account. Guys, we'd love to have you in these rooms because we want to make some money together. All right, guys, key takeaways for today. We're looking to see if wave 4 has concluded and we start to move down, or if they do need to push it just a little bit higher up towards this 37.90 level, again over 38.25, and we have to take a look at what's going on as the count for the red has invalidated, and we'll see if we're getting a bigger bounce off of the low. Over on the NASDAQ, they're a little bit behind the S&P 500. It looks like they're in wave 3 of 3 instead of all of 3 being complete. They bounced up in wave 4 towards the 764 and held that. And now we would expect to move down towards the 10,785 level if they're going to continue with this pattern. However, if they do push up over the 11,700 level, then we have to consider that the short-term or maybe even long-term bottom is in, but depending on what kind of structure we get up out of here. Guys, that is the market update for today. I will talk to you tomorrow.